Hello again, part two of my presentation. Um, like I was saying, some of the biopsychosocial factors that might have affected our stage in dealing with psychosocial crisis and finding resolutions to some of her crises. Um, Probably in her adulthood might have been single mother and being a minority. Um, Many factors might affect her, um, her marriage and the war. It had affection on her husband, which probably affected the longevity of that. Working in the 70s and the 80s and the different aspect that it had on single mothers and an African American woman. And her goal was just raising her kids and giving her kids a chance to further in their education. Whether she had to stay home at one point of her life where she stopped working to raise her grandchildren so that her children can get an education or finish trade school, and taking care of her mother. So these are issues that she might have faces. And I guess also, dealing with racism. At one point, Elle talks about her experience that when she lost her job at a nursing home that she worked for almost 10 years, and she was devastated and she was depressed at one point until her pastor was able to notice that. And due to what he say, she say, it was her word against two white women. And at that time, it was like, well, we'll take the the white woman word over yours, and being the person that she is and dealing with it through praying and her faith in God. So, but luckily, being in a tight knit community where her pastor was able to refer her to a lawyer, and her lawyer was able to pick up that case and advocate for her and learn about her character. We're visiting her old job and learning from the resident and see how much of an impact she had, even through the priests, knowing how much impact she has. Like she was one of the few people to get the residencies to go to mass, and a lot of the residency didn't go to mass, and because of her. So she only had like great rapport, and based on her loyal, outstanding report and based on um, her presentation at court, where the judge was able to rule for her and she was able to get back pay. I mean, she never went back to the job because another opportunity opened, and where she worked there until retirement. But it just shows you like racial differences played a part on some of the crises and adversity that she dealt with, and also in the community you see that African Americans tend to cherish these lessons. That way they gain experience that help them further in life. Some of the coping mechanism, that help her through these factors is the love for her children. Work in the nursing field, she believed that that was her callings, that was her gift to do for others. So she loved doing for others and helping others. Even when her children was no longer living with her, she can work and take care of elderlies that needed her help. And she found joy in family function, no matter what it is, baby showers, reunions, and spending time with her great grandchildren. And she would love to further that more. Another theory that helped address some of the crisis that Elle went through, her faith in religion, and that plays a really big part of who she is and what God means to her and her faith means to her. And without that, she expressed that she wouldn't be where she is now. It helped her through many of her stages, and she is content of learning about God and faith and church and prayer and through at an early age, because that was the structure of her family. That's what she raised her kids. She never read like regular book to her children. That that's what helped her through adversities. And as she get older, Fuller talks about how the adults start to correlate the meaning of faith and how they cope with existing relationship and the meaning of life and humankind, and how they try to have a better understanding for others. And some of the influence that you can see how faith had on her, like we talked about, her upbringing at an early age. Her mom taught her the importance of church and community and what it means to have that foundation to raise her family, and she continued that with her kids. Her kids was baptized, and her son was an usher in the church, and she turned to prayer throughout whatever crisis that she was going through her life at that time, and God is a really big influence in her life. Her involvement in church before and after retirement, and finding any way, anyhow, to provide her services, and based on her relationship with God, it gave her a sense of peace and guidance and support that she needed throughout her life. Some of the limitations based on Erikson's theory on the stage of development. One can say different individuals develop differently at different stages. So it's kind of hard to group a certain individual on a certain stage because of their age, because different factors could affect them as far as their race or their gender or their social environment, what was presented to them, the time frame that they was raised. So she was raised in the 40s versus people who raised in this new generation. And as Susan Fabius says, the social environment and challenges individuals face justify the use and regenerative culture strength. So that plays a part of how someone cope and what they were dealt with. Another factor could be race and minority. At that time, Erikson theory was geared to more towards boys and girls, and in a different time period. So now, the effect of different minority group and ethnic group and their life experience and what they gear to, or their tradition and culture could affect, their development stage. So that could have some of the limitations on their development. So thank you for sticking with me. And this is conclude my presentation. Hope you enjoy.